Hello, everyone. It's so nice to see you here. Thank you for joining me today on this beautiful day. Today's topic is something that I have been working on my entire career, pretty much. I don't want to say struggling with. I want to say just readjusting to be comfortable with. And what it is being a multi-creative. Okay, like you watching this, I can imagine that you are probably an actor, also a voiceover artist or wanting to be a voiceover artist. You may be a singer, you may be a dancer, you may be a painter and a photographer, you may play guitar. I mean, these are all things that I do. You may play drums, you may also write, you may do all these things. And what we're constantly told is you need to pick one, right? We're constantly told that we need to pick one. And it kind of sucks out the creativity. It sucks out why we do what we do and why we love what we do. So, the first thing that you want to do, this is the first key that you want to do, is you need to let go of that notion. Well, you don't need to, but I'm hopefully this is what worked for me. Hopefully this will work for you. To let go of that notion that you need to just pick one to be successful. I don't agree with that. I absolutely don't agree with that. I agree that you concentrate on different ones at different time, and we'll get to that in another key. But you don't need to just pick one thing. That's like saying, what's your favorite kitten or what's your favorite child if you have children, right? And I know that you've probably gotten that question before because I've gotten that question before. Well, what do you like better? You know, I'm an actress, right? I've done that for almost 20 years. Voiceover, also almost 20 years. Artist, almost 20 years. I've singer, almost 20, all these professionally. And also just in my lifestyle, I've been doing this, right? Playing music. I play drums. I play guitar. I paint. I do photography, everything, that you see because it brings me joy, right? So what you want to do is you want to just look at this so it doesn't cause you anxiety and say, I don't need to pick one thing. I can do all of these things because being creative is a way of life. It's not just a job. It's a way of life. It's not just a job; it's an adventure. But it's a way to look the world in a different way and a way to bring joy to the world. So the worst thing you could do is judge yourself and put pressure on yourself for not doing things. So I have run into that before where, it used to a long time ago before I kind of adopted a different mindset, I'd be doing one thing and thinking I should be doing another. And I'll get, I'm concentrating, let's say I'm getting all these acting jobs. I mean, hello, that's a great thing, right? Thinking, oh, no, no, I should be working more on music, or, oh, no, 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 I should be working more on that because that's what I really wanted to do at that time. Or that's where my, thing, as opposed to just saying, let's just let it flow, right? The most important part of this, and I just want you to remember, it's not a job that you're picking, it's an industry. Okay. So the job is the industry. The industry is entertainment industry. The job is to entertain, right? Let's just say. If you broaden up and you back up a little bit and you think my job here is to create. My job here is to entertain. My job is in the entertainment industry. Well, look at that umbrella that you've just created and all these things that fall underneath it, right? All these things that fall underneath it would be singing, performing, acting, voiceover, painting, writing. All these things fall under it. So then you say, this is what I do. I'm a creative. I'm a multi-creative. And I have said that. I have moved into saying that sometimes when I don't feel like just saying I do voiceover or I'm an actor, or going down the list, because that kind of sounds weird when you just start doing that. So the number one thing to do, I find that has always helped me, and hopefully this will help you, is to just let it go. Let it go, that pressure that you need to pick one. Okay? This is all just a creative process and it's all just a creative thing. So that leads me to the second key, and that is find an analogy for it. Now, I love analogies, right? I love coming up with, I always say, just give me tools, right? I'm one of those actors and voiceover people that just love direction. I mean, you just tell me what you want. If you ask for my opinion, that's great. Or afterwards, take another take where I can improv or something. But if you have a direction in it, my job is to make your story happen and to do it in the way that you would like it to be seen. So my analogy is that this is like a cake, right? It's like a creative cake that you're kind of constantly making. You're making all these cakes. And what do I mean by that? I mean that in cakes, you have all these different ingredients, right? You've got flour, you've got baking soda, you've got eggs, you've got sugar, you've got all these things, right? And they all blend together. Sometimes you need more flour. Sometimes you need more baking soda. Sometimes you need something else. Sometimes you need a little salt that brings out the flavor of something else. So, how I translate that into what we're talking about today is, for example, in the salt thing that I'm saying, let's say my flour, which is the main ingredient in the cake, usually I like to bake too, of course, is flour would be the main thing. Maybe that would be acting, right? Maybe I was doing mostly acting during that time. Well, then I started studying more and more voiceover, right? Or started doing more and more voiceover. Well, that helped bring out more in my acting, right? And if you don't know what I'm talking about, watch some other videos that I've done on my YouTube channel or here. And I always say that one helps the other. Studying acting helps voiceover. Studying voiceover helps acting. Studying dancing helps acting. Your posture, the way that you move, everything, every part of this wonderful umbrella, this entertainment umbrella, this creative umbrella helps the other things. So I look at it like a cake that I just kind of keep adding ingredients. And some months I might have more of one ingredient than the other. And, but it always gets into this beautiful, creative masterpiece, that is lovely. Now, to the third point of this, and this is what most people are, I think, talking about when they say you have to pick one, or, when they try to define success. First of all, know your definition of success. That would be the best thing that you could do. And mine is to live happy, right? To create and share art and love. That's my whole goal in life. And I define success as bringing joy to other people and hopefully inspiring, and then also to myself, right? And that is being a creative. So if that is your goal, then that's great. Other people might automatically know, okay, I want to be a singer, and that's all I want to be is a singer, and I don't want to concentrate on anything else. I'm going to guess that you're like me and you've got all these other interests, right? You may love to sing or you may love to act, but you've got these other things too. So there comes a point in time where you're doing all these things, like I'm telling you, right? Something comes up and you kind of have the faith that it's just kind of flowing. You get an acting job, and then maybe you get a voiceover job, and then you get a singing job, where you have to make the decision of your best choice for maybe income, right? Your best choice for income and your state of mind, what's bringing you happiness. What do I mean by that? A personal story I can share with you is that I was lucky enough I would get up in the morning, I'd have auditions. Let's say I'd have voiceover auditions, right, in the morning. Then I'd have a hosting job. I was a host for Common Sense Media for 8 years. I'd go to that. Then maybe I've had some other auditions for acting, or I had a shoot. Then at night, I would be maybe doing a voiceover and then singing at night, going out and singing late at night, right? Every day I would do that. And just try to work in the schedule and do it and ongoing. Well, I was doing all the things I loved. However, there came a point to where, I saw the signs. I got sick because I was just doing too much with my voice. I was going out at night. Again, that singing at night was what I pinpoint that really did it, because it interfered with my sleep in the morning when I had to get up and I had to look rested and I had to be a host and I had to remember lines and things like that. And it was the weakest link as far as my income was the singing at night. So I made that decision. Okay, for now, I am not going to sing at night. Right. So this is the priorities that I'm going to do. I'm going to really just concentrate more on acting and voiceover. Wasn't that I didn't sing every day, because God knows I sing every day by myself. I get up and I sing. Music is on all the time. I'll pick up a guitar. I'll play some drums, whatever. It just meant that wasn't what I was going to do for my income. So that is a very important thing to know, is when to take a break from these things, right? So if you followed what I just said in my first two key points, and you're living your best life and you're doing all these wonderful things, which I think is amazing to be able to do all those. And then there comes a point where one just kind of takes over. And one, there are very obvious signs. For me, I lost my voice. That was a really major, major thing for somebody like me, that's what I depend on, is my voice for all of these things that I do. And then monetarily, I had to make that decision. Hey, it's just not worth it. The return on investment isn't worth it. And for my lifestyle, it wasn't worth it because I wasn't getting the sleep I needed. So I wasn't feeling well. And so I just kind of had to do that. However, I still sang. Again, I was still creative and I was still creating. The fact of this is just that that's going to be an individual decision, and you have to um, surrender and have faith that those signs will come up and things will float in, and you'll get different ingredients in your cake, if you will, that you just keep creating and creating. You're going to come up with something else, maybe other than a cake. A cake is how I like to think of it. So just do something that really resonates with you. So again, I'm going to go over these again just to make sure and kind of make it a little more organized. Number one, you don't need to pick one. Okay. You don't need to pick just one thing. You're here right now because you're a creative person. You're a creative being. You love, creating and bringing joy to yourself and to the world. And so how that manifests will be up to you and the universe or whatever it is that you believe in, right? So, and you're going to go in and out. Maybe you'll even find some other creative outlets, that you like as well. And I think there is room for all. I think the minute that you say you have to pick one, you stifle creativity, you get anxiety. At least I did. It brought me to judging myself and all this stuff. So just let that go and just have faith that everything that you're supposed to be doing will come in the timely manner that it's supposed to be coming. The number two is to have your own analogy of it. I think of it as a cake. Like I said, well, okay, well, today I'm going to do a little bit more acting. So that's a little bit more, maybe acting would be the flour, I'm going to add a little bit of salt, the voiceover. Oh, and then I can kind of then at some point connect the dots, bring it all together. Maybe I can do, create something where you get hired, which I've had before, where I get to sing and do voiceover and be on camera. I mean, that's a joy, right? When you're playing a singer in a movie, that's the golden ticket right there. So that will happen if you just keep everything up and you're building your craft, all of these crafts at the same time. And the number three thing is to, at some point, you're going to identify where you might want to put your energy into a little bit more, or a little bit more of that ingredient into the cake, because that has to do with what your income is, or your state of mind, or your sleep, or your rest, if you're just doing too much or whatever. But that doesn't mean forever, right? We are just always evolving, and we're always just rolling with it and flowing down the river. I always like to say, I'm just flowing with the river, and whatever comes in, and I keep the faith. And this has all worked for me. Really, I'm a very big person. I'm very big on reading inspirational quotes and meditating and visualizing and all these things. And it's really worked for me and really kept me very happy doing what I've been lucky enough to be doing for 20 years. And of course, coaching would be an extension of that creativity for me, right? That's just another creative thing for me, because every single person that I coach is different. That's a different connection. We have different pinpoints and different ways of looking at things and approaching things and growing. There's nothing that makes me happier than one of my students who I just got an email from today that said, oh, I booked my first job, and, this corporate voiceover, and I'm so happy. And, nothing warms my heart more than that. So that's kind of baking its own little cake. So anyway, just find what's right for you, and get in the mindset that you absolutely can do all of this. And enjoy. So if there's any questions, I'm going to look down and see. And yeah, so thank you for watching this. I'm going to say, wow, thank you for saying what I have always felt. Being creative is a way of life. You don't have to just pick one. Love it. Well, thank you, Annie. I'm so glad that resonated with you. Again, it's one of those things that my head just spins. I used to listen to it at first, and it really brought me a lot of anxiety. So I kind of turned that around and said, not the way I want to live my life. Not the way I want to live my life, right? So number two, and again, this is not, I just want to point out, that's not finding your niche, just so you know. That's not the same thing. Niches within these little creative things that you're doing. So just so you know, I'm so glad that resonated with you. Wilbert, thank you for watching. Greetings, coach, folks, phone, have a charge, replay, shout outs. Okay, thank you. And Sindoro, hi. Hi, and yes. Okay, so this is going to be a short but sweet kind of video, but I hope you got a little bit out of it. And I hope that you continue to create and grow and enjoy. And I'm wishing you all the best. Just keep talking and keep loving out there and stay safe. All right. Bye.